And when the world needed him the most, he vanished.
Oh, hi. I'm Ed. Hey, you guys want to see a deck profile with 2 PsyFrame drivers and a Dark Magician? Well, I got the deck for you. It's called Lunalight. So I just want to say thank you guys for keeping up with me. I definitely want to say check out my Twitter. Hi, my name is Ed too. So definitely check it out. You can get a lot of live updates from me. I'm going to do a lot of coverage for YCS Las Vegas coming up in a week. And I definitely want to show you a Lunalight deck I've been testing a lot. I don't have not most of the cards. I don't have some of the cards. They're like really fringe cards, but I definitely have some proxies for it. Also, I'll have the download link for my dueling book because I definitely have been testing it. And there's also going to be videos coming later where I basically do the duel records of it, and then I do a commentary over it. But I definitely think Lunalight is a strong deck because it is like the deck that does the most with the least amount of cards. So all you need is something like a Tiger Chick, and you're able to make like really nice boards. And it gets to play a lot of engines. I think is just really, really, really unfair. So, let's just get started with the deck. So I play 3 Kaleido Chick. It's basically the workhorse of the deck. What it does is it sends as cost basically the Lunalight card. Lunalight cards from your deck to your graveyard, and it becomes the name. And it's not once per turn. It's a soft once per turn, so every time it's a different Kaleido Chick, you can keep using its effect. It's really good, and one of my favorite effects is basically you get to, when it gets banished, your opponent can't use any, like effects in the battle phase. So you can definitely like lure this away and evenly match them for their life, like games 2 and 3. Or it's really good. Or like you go like Twin Twister during battle phase, and that's like a crazy thing. But definitely this is like the reason why Lunalight is like so consistent, so good. There's so many like copies of this card. Then we have Yellow Martin. Basically what it does, it bounces a Lunalight card on field to special summon itself from graveyard or from hand. And when this card gets sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you get to go ahead and search for a Lunalight spell or trap. So it's really, really good. Also, it gets banished when you special summon it, but it also has a cool combo with Lunalight Emerald Bird. This is definitely my favorite Lunalight. Obviously, it's not as broken as the others, but I like drawing cards. So when it gets normal or special, you get to discard a Lunalight card or draw a card. But when it gets banished, you can go ahead and banish or send to the graveyard, actually. You get to special summon a Lunalight card from your banished or from your graveyard. So it's really cool. You get to do a lot of cool things with Allure with it. The reason why Lunalight is so powerful is Lunalight Tiger. So what it does is its scale effect is it summons a Lunalight from the graveyard, and it can't attack anymore, but it doesn't really matter because you're going to use it for its links, and it's not once per turn also. So every time you keep putting it back into your hand with a bunch of other effects we play in this deck, you can just keep using it. And then when this card gets destroyed, you get to special summon a Lunalight from the graveyard. So definitely like the most powerful card in the deck. And then, this deck has a bunch of engines to it. So this is just the Wing Beast engine. It's like this and the Force Tricks. So what this card does, Zephyros, it bounces back something face up on the field. So you can do a lot of cute stuff like bouncing back Tankies if you really need it. But just bouncing back Tiger is the main thing. So you got to basically do an extra special with Tiger just with that. And it's definitely searchable. And you want to use its effect basically all the time because that's how you do a lot of the extenders. So basically what you need for the Lunalight deck is a bunch of cards that summon itself. Usually people play Dangers or the Magician Souls engine. Right now I'm just playing Magician Souls because I'm playing like a pretty cool engine to supplement it. So I play 3 Magician Souls. These are the French ones. Here's the English one, but no one's gonna read this. I'm just gonna go ahead and explain what it does. So basically, as cost, it can send a level 6 or higher spellcaster to the graveyard to special summon it, and then it has a really cool effect of you can discard spells or traps from your hand or field to basically draw cards. So it's really good because a lot of the Lunalight cards, enjoy being there in graveyard. And also, it's just like, it's a free card because this deck is very different from the normal Lunalight deck. It's not as combo heavy. It's more kind of like a control version. So it's really cool. Also, has a fun effect of summoning Dark Magician. I played 2 copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. So basically, we never want to brick with this card, Magician Soul, because to summon it, you need to send Apprentice Illusion Magician. So that's why we play 2. And basically what this card does is when you you can special summon it by discarding a card. Any card, doesn't really matter. And it just summons itself. So it's just like a pseudo danger at that point. And what's really cool is it searches Dark Magician. So you're probably wondering why I talk about Dark Magician a lot, because, you know, it's a very powerful card. It's because I play Dark Magician. So a lot of people, like, it's actually kind of crazy, like, what this card does. What it does basically is it makes this card into a +1. Well, not necessarily +1. It's like a break even, because, like, sometimes it sucks to discard cards. So you get a card that replaces itself. And it's just basically a free inherent summon. But what's really cool about it is that Magician Soul's second effect is that you can discard Magician Souls to special summon Dark Magician onto the field. So what I like about it is it's just a way to turn your Magician Souls, which is normally like a very lackluster card in Lunalight. Obviously, it's really good because it you know, gets your engine going. You discard cards, you draw cards. But like in the late game, it's really cool. You can just go like discard to special summon, and that's just a free beer. So it's like definitely like a cool little engine. But there's another card that works really well with it. It's just Allure of Darkness. So basically what you would do is you special summon this, search this, allure this away, so then you just got a +1 out of that. So it's like very strong. And then because, you know, I like vanillas, I play 2 more vanillas. I play 2 PsyFrame drivers. I'll show you why I play 2 PsyFrame drivers, because I actually play a pretty large amount of PsyFrame cards. So it's pretty good. And like the cool thing about this is just like, it's just, the deck is so powerful that you can afford like these bricks, and you can just discard these for the Lunalight card. So it's very strong. Same thing with Dark Magician. So the same thing with Dark Magician is when you search it, it just gives you more fodder for your perfumes. So I play 3 Gamma, and I have a proxy in this deck, 3 Delta. So obviously everyone knows what Gamma does. Basically, when a monster effect gets activated, you know cards in hand. I mean, no cards on field. No monsters on field actually. You can special summon it by summoning a PsyFrame driver, and then it negates and destroys it. The monster effect. So it's like really strong, and I definitely think this is like one of the most powerful hand traps in the format, because it's like aggressive and it's defensive. So against like Spiral, it stops the Spiral combo. Most importantly, it shuffles your deck, so then it makes the double helix even harder to resolve, and it doesn't let you get drones locked. But a card I've really been liking is, you know, these are the actually the ghost rare versions of PsyFrame Delta. So what PsyFrame Delta has pretty much the same exact stats. It's level 2 psychic. Is it does the same thing as Gamma, but instead of monster effects, it negates spells. So what's really one of my biggest problem with the Lunalight deck is that it doesn't have a strong board against a lot of the trap decks, but a lot of the trap decks are very inconsistent and rely on cards like Pot of Desires or Pot of Extravagance to get their engine going. So if you have a card like PsyFrame Delta, it lets you just negate that, and then they brick, and then your engine is just a really powerful like recursive engine, so you can go ahead and just grind out with them. But what's really cool is because of PsyFrame Lambda, these become like way better than they are. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with it, and it just forces out stuff. And like a really cool interaction is like Mystic Mine is like a big issue against this deck. So you can summon a Lambda, do your entire combo, and then you could Delta them, and it negates the, what is it called, the Mystic Mine. And also, like, just stopping stuff like Call by the Grave, it's really good, like when they try to stop your Martyr and things like that. So that was all the monsters. So now we just have, like, the Lunalight engine. Basically, it is this 3 perfume. Basically what it does is a monster reborn for Lunalights. But also what it does is you can discard a card to basically search any Lunalight card in your deck. And it's just really good. It lets you get your engine going. And what you want to do is you want to activate cards that make your opponent want to Gamma you. So then you can just Gamma them, make it Omega, rip a card out of the hand. So you just basically made them -2 for no reason, and then you got your engine going. And so basically to work with this, I play 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. Foolish Burial Goods has an extra added value to this deck because I play a Spicy Tech card. And it's just really good, and it's just more cards basically that that forces your opponent to have Ash, to have Droll, and it makes them basically just lose to Gamma. And then, you know, to continue with the trend, I play 3 copies of Tanky. Basically, just another card that baits out spells or traps, more consistencies. So then if you really think about it, like, you have like 9 extra copies of every Lunalight card in your deck. So it's just really consistent, and that's why you can afford to play, you know, these silly cards like Dark Magician or even a second Driver or the other PsyFrame cards. So that's like the basic consistency engine part of the deck. Also, I have 3 Allure of Darkness. It's really, really, really strong. So like I told you, like one of my favorite combos would be to go ahead and special summon, not special summon this, my bad. Special summon one of these, search your Dark Magician, and if you have Allure, you can Allure this away and you just got a +1. It's really crazy. And then I have one tech card that I've been playing. So I don't have it, but it's basically Pot of Greed. It's Celestial Observatory. So I said there's going to be a download link for my deck profile, for my deck if you want to try it. Basically, what's it called? Celestial Observatory does is you can get a level 6 monster from field or from hand, put it to the bottom of the deck to draw 2. So it's like really good, because if you notice that this is just a brick most of the time, so you can definitely shuffle these back. But it's really cool. You can actually just go like special summon, negate something, and then let's say your hand is kind of inconsistent, you can send this card back to the bottom of the deck, draw 2, and then you can just link this away, and that's just really strong. So Celestial Observatory, really good. It works especially with the Apprentice Magician. It's a very strong card. You only play 1 because it doesn't happen that often, but it's just a really cool thing, and I really been liking it lately. And then finally the traps. The Lunalight Serenade Dance, it's basically a staple. It's the only card you can actually search off Martin. So a common misconception is you can search Lunalight Perfume. It doesn't work because it's a foreign one, but technically you can still do Lunalight. That's English, right? Nope. English, there you go. You can search, you can actually search this off Martin because it says Luna Space Light, but because this is a Lunalight card, no spaces in between. Come on, let's jam. Basically, you can search this off Martin, and it's going to basically just get you a +1. But basically what this card does is when it's in your graveyard, what you can do is you can banish it. It's a quick effect, except only during your main phase. You can special summon 1 Lunalight from your deck. So it's really strong. Very good card. It's like a real cool way to play around like DD Crow. So let's say you have like, sometimes when you Foolish Burial Goods like this, it's wrong because they can just DD Crow it immediately. But if you DD Crow like this card, it plays around Lancia and Lancia and Crow, because when you summon it, they're just going to be like, oh, Lancia, then you go Chain. Or they try to Crow it, and then you go Chain. Obviously, no one's going to Crow, but they're going to Lancia you, and then you're going to Chain and banish it. So it's like a real cool way to play around that card. And then definitely one of my favorite cards lately is PsyFrame Overload. Basically what it does, well, if a lot of people don't know me, I love PsyFrame cards, so that's definitely why I like this card. But what it does is, when it's face up on the field, you can you can banish the PsyFrame from your hand or graveyard, hand or field, to banish a card on your opponent's side of the field, and it banishes it face down, so they can't like have access to it again unless they do stuff like Omega. But what's really cool is like you can go like negate something, special these 2, and then this is another layer of interruption where you can just banish this, and then you banish another card on your opponent's side of the field. So it's like 2 cards. But what's really cool is it has a second effect where when it's in the graveyard and it's not the turn you just sent it, you can go ahead and banish it to search any PsyFrame. So what's cool is there's like a lot of longevity to this deck, because you can go ahead and search your PsyFrames, you know, have this, and then Foolish Burial Goods it. So that's why I really like this deck, because I think Foolish Burial Goods is like definitely one of the most like powerful cards in the game, because it like has like so many random uses. And this is either going to be part of the Lunalight engine, or it's going to be like a defensive card because it can search the PsyFrames to make your Lambda even stronger. So this card is like crazy good in this deck. So here is the extra deck for my Lunalight PsyFrame Dark Magician deck. So definitely, this is the all-star of the deck. This is Lambda. It's really generic. So what I like about it is, like, normally, like, you play a bunch of different levels. and you could just turn your monsters into a generic link. But like this link is crazy because what it does, if it's on the field, you can normally the PsyFrames, you need an empty monster, like an empty monster zone, but with Lambda on the field, you can activate your PsyFrames even if you have like 3 monsters on field. So then you can just go ahead and go special summon and negate anything. So basically when you summon a Lambda, it lets you just turn on your PsyFrames. But even crazier part is with PsyFrame Gamma is basically PsyFrame Gamma and any other psychic monsters you play in your deck is when this card, when a psychic gets banished, at the end phase, PsyFrame Lambda can search for any PsyFrame card. So then basically what's really cool is you can go like special Lambda, not special Lambda, special Gamma with its effect. And then end phase, when this gets banished, you get to search for another PsyFrame. So you have another layer of negation. And because you play 2 drivers, you can negate again on your turn to protect your combo. So it's like very strong. And then the 2 big bosses of this deck, Appaloosa. It's pretty simple. You just negate stuff, very strong. And then Overlord. So like you summon this first to stop your opponent from playing. Then you summon this on your turn when you get it back to just basically kill him. Then we have a Masquerena. Basically, Masquerena is really cool because normally your ending board would be like this, and then like this doesn't look that imposing, but what you can do is like they do something, you go special summon this, not that, that's cheating, summon this, so you negate something, and then you immediately use Masquerena's effect to send all this. So now if you have another PsyFrame card in your hand, you can summon back the same driver. But then when you do that, you can summon an Appaloosa on their turn. So now you just have even more negates. So it's like really crazy. And then because you play a card like Delta, now you can negate a spell, and then you have like a bunch of monster negates. So it's really strong in that aspect. And then to work with the Masquerena, it's just 2 generic cards. Unicorn, basically whenever Appaloosa is not like the best card, you can go ahead and summon a Unicorn. And then same thing with Nightmare Phoenix, just lets you go second. It's very strong. And like the reason why I like this deck a lot is definitely the XYZs. So to go with the PsyFrame engine is Time Thief Redoer. So what it does is if basically whatever you have underneath it has different effects. So if you have a monster, you can detach to basically turn it into a wind-up rabbit. It banishes. And then when it's a spell, you draw a card. And then when it's a trap, you can target a face-up card, put it on top of your opponent's deck. But what's really cool is during standby phase, you can go ahead and activate its effect, and it actually gets the top card of your opponent's deck, puts it underneath, and then you kind of get the information of what they're playing, and also you can just get random pluses out of it. But because it's a psychic, it actually triggers Lambda's effect. So you go ahead and attach this, activate its effect to turn it into like a wind-up rabbit, strike ninja, whatever, however old you are, activate it, and then it triggers Lambda, which basically searches your PsyFrame. So that's basically how you do your combo. And what's cool is that this is not a cost, so it triggers stuff like Martin or Emerald Bird. So you can definitely do a lot of cool things like that. Exciton Knight, really strong against the trap decks. Very cool. Like, yeah, it's a really good card. Then my favorite card, Dugaris, has like 3 different effects. So it's really good, even going second, because you can make your Overlord 7,000 attack. I can double an attack of anything by detaching 2 materials. Also, it can just draw 2. That's usually what I use it for. Draw 2, discard 1. It does everything you want in a card. And then also it can just monster reborn a card. So you can definitely do a lot of cool things. Like a lot of times I reborn this back because this is like a problem card for a lot of control decks. So it's really good. Another card good against control decks is Tornado Dragon. Just pop spell and traps. But what's really cool is you can spot your own spell and traps. So you can go ahead and pop your Tiger, which will trigger it to special summon. But you also can banish a trap card. So you can end up searching like a Gamma or a Delta on your turn after you pop it. And then a combo card. This just searches your Zephyros. So it's really cool. Pretty simple. Doesn't really do much besides search Zephyros, but Zephyros is really important to the combo. Then we play 2 stun cards. Dweller is really good against Dino. If you know your opponent's playing Dino, if your opponent makes you go first, you summon Dweller, and then Dino like this plus like a Lambda with like a spell negate is really hard for that to crack. But then usually if you're going blind, you go ahead and summon Baguska because it's basically just like an FTK against a lot of the combo decks. It's very strong. This is the main reason why Lunalight's so good, is because you can summon these 2 cards. And then finally, I don't have an Omega, So this is gonna be the Omega proxy. Let's just go like that. Yeah, it looks like Omega now, huh? Cover a star. There you go, 8 stars. But Omega, what it does, what it does is it banishes. It can banish itself to basically snipe a card out, and then it has a cool effect of once returned during each standby phase, you can go ahead and put a card banished back into your opponent's graveyard, into either player's graveyard. So what's really cool is like you have like the added benefit of you can keep putting back perfume, so you can keep searching your Lunalights every turn, or you can go ahead and keep putting back your Overload, which basically lets you keep searching back your PsyFrame cards, or even stuff like putting back Driver, or let's say you want your Dark Magician engraved, so you can special summon it off Magician Souls. You can definitely do that too. But yeah, that was my deck. So thanks guys, it was really cool. Hopefully you guys like it. I think it was like a weird, fun spin on this deck. So if you definitely like it, try it out. And thanks.